Hey there, and welcome to the first video in a Loki-themed YouTube series. Now, we know that Loki as we know him is very dead, but with the new Marvel Loki series on Disney+, we have the new Loki variant from the Avengers Endgame time travel timeline. This Loki is from an alternate universe where the Infinity Stones were stolen by the main timeline Avengers in 2023 so that they could bring back everyone who was killed in the blip. Because this Loki is from 2012, he's only just invaded Earth with the Chitauri, therefore he isn't the anti-hero Loki who sacrificed himself in Infinity War. This means he isn't the redeemed Loki, and he's still the egomaniac god from Thor in the Avengers, or Avengers Assemble if you're English. I don't know why it's called Avengers Assemble in England, and if it's called that anywhere else, so just don't ask me. So the question is, how many Loki variants really are there? And the real question after that is, if there are other Loki variants, then are there other variants of other beloved characters? This is honestly a genius way to introduce us to the multiverse. If you haven't into the Spider-Verse like me, or you haven't read the comics, you won't know what the multiverse is. In a nutshell, the multiverse is a real-life theory that exists in science, with many famous scientists looking into the possibility that we're living in one of the many universes where Earth exists. This has been a recurring plotline in the Marvel Comics since the beginning. According to the animated sequence in Loki with Mr. Minutes, she explains that many centuries ago there was a vast multiversal war, but the Timekeepers, the reigning power of the TVA, merged all of the different multiverses and timelines into one, the sacred timeline, which the TVA protects. The Timekeepers have an overlooking presence in the comics, causing many alternate timelines and battles. The Timekeepers were created by He Who Remains, the director of the TVA. After other versions of them, the Time Twisters, attacked the Avengers, destroying everything in their path. We haven't actually seen the real Timekeepers in Loki, since we've only had one episode yet, but Loki mentioned them as lizards, which does correspond with their green appearance in the comics. Quite obviously, this is incredibly complicated for the casual fan, but that's not where we're going with this. If you want an explanation of the scientific multiverse, there's a great video on YouTube called The Multiverse Hypothesis, explained by Neil deGrasse Tyson. If you want an explanation of the Marvel Universe, check out Imaginary Axis' video, Marvel's Guide to the Multiverse. So, on to the main part of today's discussion, the different Loki variants, and what they mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. According to Screen Rant, there are 6 different variants that could appear in this TV series. All of these are from the comics, and some are actually confirmed. There is Lady Loki, a variant who appeared after the events of Ragnarok, when the Asgardian souls were floating through space, waiting to possess bodies. The body that was meant for Lady Sif was possessed by Loki's soul, leading to the birth of Lady Loki. This variant is highly likely to appear in the show, most likely played by Sophia Di Martino. This is a popular theory, but it hasn't actually been confirmed by Kevin Feige yet. Another variant that we know will appear from the trailers is President Loki. We know this because there is a scene in the Loki trailer where we see him in a green suit wearing a toned-down version of his crown and a badge that says Loki for President. One mostly unknown variant is Kid Loki, which Screen Rant will think will be in the series. In the comics, Loki cheats death by turning back into a child, but without any memories of his former life. He uses his mischievous tendencies for good until his previous soul turns him to the dark side. This could be weird if he appears in the series and could be definitely a different take on the character. An opposite to Kid Loki is King Loki, who was driven mad by his pursuit of power and managed to succeed in wiping out the human race. It would definitely be interesting for these 2 variants to possibly meet at some point, whether it's in season 1 or the future seasons of Loki. Check out Screen Rant's site to see other possible variants, but these are the ones I'm focusing on. So, if these completely different variants can live in the multiverse, Could we see different variants of some of our favourite characters? And even see some characters that are dead? That's right, we could be seeing different variants of the likes of Natasha Romanoff, Steve Rogers, Pietro Maximoff, Gamora, or even Tony Stark. And you thought we would never see these iconic characters again after Infinity War. This could also explain the problem with Evan Peters playing Pietro in WandaVision, as well as playing Peter Maximoff in the X-Men movies. There could simply all be different variants of the Pietro Maximoff character. That's it for today. Make sure to subscribe to the Marvel Theories and turn on notifications to get notified when I post a new video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon, and hopefully I won't have this cold.